I do a lot of baking for the blog, and that means I go through a lot of vanilla extract. I think it was like last March, April, sometime in there, I decided that maybe it would be a little bit more economical for myself if I started making my own homemade vanilla extract. So I order Madagascar vanilla beans off of Amazon. I have made my homemade vanilla extract using vodka, dark rum, and bourbon. I have soaked my vanilla beans in those alcohols for 6 weeks, 6 months, and I have some soaking for a year. I definitely have my preference, and that is the bourbon. I don't know what it is. I just prefer my homemade vanilla extract made with bourbon. So I thought we'd go ahead and make some homemade vanilla extract with bourbon today. I ordered some Madagascar vanilla beans off from Amazon. There's supposed to be 10 in this pack. I have a bottle of Buffalo Trace. I have a knife and scissors, and then I have a Sharpie. So the Sharpie, I'm gonna go ahead and write the date, today's date on here. So I'm gonna let this set for a year. That way I know how long this vanilla has been sitting for. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the vanilla beans into this bottle because I'm gonna use the whole thing. I was debating about using some of it for another recipe, but I think it's better to do it this way. So, open up my package here. Yes, there's 10 vanilla beans. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lightly take the tip of my knife and cut down the vanilla bean. I don't want to pierce all the way through it. I just want that first layer of the vanilla bean cut open so those vanilla beans can flow into the bourbon and infuse with that bourbon. I like to cut the vanilla beans in half. That way they can kind of set down to the bottom of the bottle of bourbon a little bit easier. Then as I use it, I don't have to worry about the beans not being covered with alcohol, because if the beans aren't covered with the alcohol, you get a chance of mold growing, and you don't want that to ruin your vanilla extract. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add my beans into my bourbon. All the vanilla beans have been added to the bourbon. The lid is on the bourbon and I have dated it. I'm gonna go ahead and take this down and put it in my food storage room in the basement. And once a week, I'm gonna go and shake this up just to help get those vanilla beans floating into the bourbon and help those vanilla beans infuse into the bourbon itself. And then in a year, it'll be ready to use in my baking.